And personally, he demonstrated the power of this process. These youthful pastimes of the Lord are known as Yauvana Leela in the age of 16 to 24. Now, in order to perform the customary ceremonies for his deceased father, Nimai traveled to Gaya. Upon arrival, he met Ishwara Puri, a saintly devotee who was absorbed in chanting the holy names of Krishna with a lot of love. This was a stark contrast to Nimai, stark contrast against the dry philosophy that Nimai was usually accustomed to. The saintly teacher lovingly corrected Nimai, explaining that his academic prowess would not bring him to spiritual perfection. He then initiated Nimai into the chanting of Krishna's names, explaining it to be the essential religious process in the present age. So, having received the mantra, Nimai proceeded to chant with great enthusiasm and immediately found himself swooning in transcendental happiness. He was perplexed by his sudden feelings of spiritual intoxication. He approached his spiritual master and inquired whether something has gone wrong with him. Ishwarapuri smiled and he explained how powerful the holy name is, and it can quickly awaken love of God within anyone, causing him to dance, laugh, cry, and give him unbounded spiritual happiness. That is when the birth of Kirtana happened. Although Nimai felt drawn towards visiting Vrindavan, he returned to Naudvipa. He could share the priceless gift of the holy name with his community. The locals were shocked at this transformation. The scholarly and the intellectual Nimai Pandit had now become an inspired saint infused with devotional sentiment. He was completely disinterested in philosophy, logic, debate, and instead dedicated himself to incessant chanting, extolling the glories of Nama Sankirtan at every opportunity. The locals realized that Nimai had become a Vaishnava, and this was unbelievable. It was something that they had prayed for, and they were thus rejoicing in great happiness. Nimai had induced people to chant throughout his life. At the time of birth, everyone had gathered to chant to counteract the bad astrological influences. In his childhood, the ladies would chant to stop him from crying. In his youth, he would induce his classmates to chant by teaching Sanskrit grammar through the holy name. Now, that mission would manifest on another scale. This period would mark the birth of the wide scale Sankirtana movement, and Nimai was at the very heart of the spiritual revolution. We often dream of an audience with God. It is, however, it seems extremely distant and way beyond our present perception. George Harrison also sang, I really want to see you, Lord, but it takes so long. Thankfully, there is a way to perceive God's presence, and it is here and now. How can this presence be felt? Through sound. Since Lord is absolute, there is no difference between Him and His name. So, when one chants the holy name of God with sincere intention, they actually come in direct contact with Him. This experience enlivens the soul, allowing one to taste the deep happiness that we often search for in objects and relationships in this world. Nimai became the living example of the efficacy of this process. He inaugurated the Sankirtana movement by opening a nocturnal school of Kirtana at the home of Srivas Thakur. And behind closed doors, in the company of closest associates, Nimai chanted and danced to his heart's content, bringing waves of ecstasy that would sometimes become uncontrollable. So, we should take a break now. After the break, we will see the exhibitions of his divinity, and further, we will see some more uh, events, important events of his life. Prabhuji, shall we take a break now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. I hope it is going in line and I
Yes,
am
yes, yes.
too fast or too slow.
No, 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 it is very good. There is no defect in the delivery of the class.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. So we shall continue after 5 minutes.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Prabhu, I just wanted to clarify one thing that I was supposed to speak on Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati on 30th and 31st. So it has been moved to January, is it, Prabhu?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Have you got the latest schedule?
yeah, latest schedule I saw.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay, Prasad Prabhu is speaking on Raghunath Bhatta Goswami
Yes,
on
yes.
that in those days.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, because I had requested those days for because it was Shri Saraswati Thakur's disappearance day, so I thought I would speak on that day.
Okay, okay. Let me just open my file. Yes, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur by you on 6th and 7th of January.
Okay.
You wanted on which date?
The previous one, Prabhu.
Yeah, that means on 30th and 31st of December.
Yes, because that is the
Okay,
exact.
okay. I'll change it. I'll change it.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so
I'll
much.
interchange. There is no problem at all.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yes, you had told me, but when I rehearsed the whole thing, I didn't remember this point.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Shall we start the class, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisance. So we saw the turning point in Lord Nimai's life, and now we will see the exhibitions of Lord Nimai's divinity. Along with his remarkable displays of ecstatic chanting, Nimai proved his divinity through a series of miraculous events. And although his advent was in a guise of a devotee, on numerous occasions his supreme position became very apparent to everyone. So one of this incident was the Mahaprakash Leela. So once in the home of Srivas Thakur, Nimai sat upon a throne of Vishnu and accepted worship for 21 consecutive hours. In return, he offered each devotee a suitable benediction according to their spiritual relationship with him. Next, we see his Shadabhuja Darshan. So, after the Mahaprakash Leela, Nimai revealed his six-armed form, that is Shadabhuja, to Nityananda Prabhu. He manifested two arms of Krishna, two arms of Rama, and his own two arms, thus confirming that all these three incarnations were indeed the same personality of Godhead. Then, seeing Krishna and Balram, Sachimata once had a dream that Nimai and Nityananda were none other than Lord Krishna and Balrama. So when Nityananda Prabhu arrived for prasadam the following day, she saw them sitting together and she could immediately understand their identity. Then one day there was this mango party. We can I've given this I've shown this in this slide. There was a mango feast. It was the practice of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to gather hundreds and thousands of devotees together to perform the public singing of the holy names of the God, the Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, the Maha Mantra. And on one occasion, when the singing came to an end, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the devotees the type of food they would like to eat, and they all requested for a mango, and it was not the mango season. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked someone to bring him a dry mango seed, and the person gave it to the Lord. Lord placed it in the ground and began to chant the holy name. The seed immediately sprouted in a full grown mango tree, and within minutes it had huge mangoes, which were biggest of the biggest ever seen before. And they were completely ripe, without any skin, without any seeds. And this delighted the devotees. They ate it to their satisfaction, and this pleased Lord. Then one of the other incidents was Chaitanya Simha, when Srivas Thakur recited the 1,000 names of Vishnu and reached the name of Narsim Bhagwan. Nimai immediately adopted that ferocious mood and proceeded to run through the city streets. And with a club in his hand, he was ready to attack all the atheists. Then another incident was about the astrological calculation. Nimai once requested a learned astrologer to elucidate information of his previous birth. And after making the calculation, he concluded that he was actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then we see the Yamuna Karshana Leela. Once Nimai manifested the mood of Balrama and acting as if he was intoxicated, he reenacted the pastime revolving the Yamuna River. And there were events at Srivas Thakur's house. Nimai would hold all night kirtans at Srivas Thakur's home. So, variety of wondrous events took place over there. Once Srivas Thakur's dead son began instructing the family, his niece Narayani received the prasadam remnants from Nimai. His Muslim tailor had a vision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Srivas personally had many profound spiritual discussions with Nimai. So, although these astonishing occurrences caused wonder in Navdvipa, the greatest miracle was the unbounded spiritual love that Nimai displayed and induced within others. Now, there is one incident over here wherein Lord shows his universal form. So, one day in the house of Advaita Acharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was requested to display the universal form of Lord Krishna, which he did in front of everyone in Advaita Acharya's house. He showed his Vishwarupa, and this is the standard of the bona fide incarnation of Bhagavan. Without being able to show the form, the same to Arjuna, one cannot be accepted as the actual avatara of Lord Vishnu. So everyone from the intellectual people and the simple villagers to ministers and officials to housewife children, temple priests, and the local outcasts all were swept in the devotion that was being exuded with such an intensity. He was able to penetrate beyond the superficial facade of every individual and infuse their hearts with divine love. The astrologer was struck with wonder and he understood that Nimai is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. But in spite of all this, there was a lot of opposition also. Now, let us see the opposition faced. Nimai's mission was to inaugurate and establish the process of Nama Sankirtana as the special dispensation of Kali Yuga, for the Kali Yuga. So while the private gatherings at Srivas Thakur's home were undoubtedly these gatherings were blissful, he couldn't. These gatherings could not be confined to the four walls. It very quickly became a Sankirtan party, and it came on the streets of Navdvipa, where thousands of people joyously chanted, and they surcharged the entire town with a unique devotional buzz. And as the movement grew in strength, influence, and prominence, however, there was growing opposition from various parties. Let us see these oppositions. One was from the very famous Jagai and Madai. So after receiving the instruction to share the holy name with each and everyone, Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur encountered Jagai and Madai, the two notorious brothers who had abandoned all the family cultured background and had degraded to materialistic lifestyle. So, when requested to chant the holy name, they angrily chased Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur away. Again, both of them returned the following day when and asked them to say the holy name. It was when Madai hit Nityanand Prabhu with a piece of earthen pot, which caused a lot of blood that came from his head. Hearing this, Nimai Prabhu angrily came to the scene. He was ready to kill both the brothers for this very great offense. It was on the plea of Nityanand Prabhu that Nimai spared their lives. And shaken by their near death experience, Jagai and Madai repented for their mistakes. They became cleansed of the sinful habits and they received initiation into the chanting of Lord Krishna's name. And this was indeed an incredible transformation. Then there was another event about Gopal Chapala. Gopal Chapala was a local Brahmana who disapproved of the kirtans at Srivas Thakur's house. In an attempt of defamation, he placed some sacrificial items at the doorstep of Srivas Thakur, proving that Srivas actually is a meat-eating drunkard. So, as the villagers they came to know about this, Srivas did not try to defend himself. He instead humbly announced that yes, he is a degraded person. But everyone clearly understood that this was a devious plan of Gopal. As a result of his offensive behavior, Gopal interacted leprosy and was only relieved from his illness when he approached Shiva's Thakur for forgiveness. Then we learn about a Brahmana's curse. So another local Brahmana became agitated when he was refused entry into the all-night kirtans. In retaliation, he cursed Nimai to be bereft of all material happiness. And Nimai Prabhu was very pleased to receive this benediction because this was in disguise, and he wholeheartedly thanked him. Let us now see hear about Chand Kazi. So there were complaints against the public Sankirtana. Uh, it began to flood in from the local Muslims, the staunch atheists, and even the rigid Smartha Brahman community. The strict Islamic magistrate, who is Chand Kazi, responded by sending officers to break the drums at Srivas Thakur's house, after which they officially outlawed the public chanting that had become a resounding phenomenon throughout Navadvipa. In response to that, Nimai gathered all the devotees and organized a non-violent demonstration at the Qazi's residence. The sound was tumultuous, and when they arrived at his home, Qazi was too scared to appear. So Nimai eventually met him, and they had a very fruitful dialogue on the comparative religious principles of the Vedas and Quran. And the Qazi was convinced of the Vedic version that Nimai had presented and related how Narsim Bhagwan had appeared in his dream and warned him not to oppose the Sankirtan movement. And since then, the Qazi finally declared that neither him nor any member of his dynasty in the future will ever obstruct the Sankirtana movement. So we live in a world which is topsy turvy, and Krishna declares that religion is sometimes mistaken as irreligion, while irreligion regularly passes as religion. These instructive pastimes remind us that genuine devotees of God will undoubtedly face obstacles, oppositions, and criticisms. See, when a homeopathic treatment is applied, the initial sign of success is that the disease gets worse, and that is, however, an indication that the treatment is actually working. Similarly, when a genuine spiritual movement takes root, some opposition is expected. But as time goes by the powerful message will be truly appreciated and it will be valued. So, but one has to remain determined, tolerant, and humble, and there will be eventual success. Finally, we come to a bigger version of Lord Nimai's family, which is the world. Nimai, he was like absorbed. One day, he was absorbed in the sentiments of Krishna's greatest devotee, devotees, and he started chanting "Gopi, Gopi." So when a young boy he overheard this, he rebuked him. He instructed him to chant Krishna's name instead. Nimai was angry and he chased him. But the situation got aggravated further. The boy told his friends to criticize Nimai. And troubled by this immature disregard, Nimai considered that he may have to adjust his social position to command more respect. So then, accepting the order of sannyasa, renunciation would offer him a greater authority, and people would be more inclined to submissively hear from him. Life would open more opportunities to inundate the world with the chanting of Krishna's name. And this was a painful choice, but Nimai Nimai found it necessary. So, at the age of 24 years, Nimai traveled to Katwa to meet the great saint Keshava Bharati. In the company of few intimate followers and friends, he shaved his head, donned saffron, he wore saffron robes, he cut himself from all the social ties, and he entered the order of sannyasa. He was now known as Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Although Nimai had made considerable progress in Navadvipa, his vision for Sankirtana movement was much bigger. To facilitate this expansion and increase his circle of influence, Nimai decided to formally accept the sannyasa order of life. His mother and wife wept bitterly when they heard of his plans. Vishnu Priya was only 16 years then, and Sachimata was around 70 years. Though soft at heart, Nimai was a very strong person. He was determined to give up all the worldly, he was determined to give up the small world of family life and to embrace the entire world as his family. So, although the scriptural injunctions forbid the acceptance of sannyasa in Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu still proceeded and uh, took up sannyasa. His higher purpose was to uplift humanity through spiritual welfare work, and thus he was not subject to this restriction. Interestingly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu deliberately accepted sannyasa initiation in an impersonal tradition. Although he opposed the impersonal philosophy. This was strategically planned since uh, afford him greater it would offer him greater opportunities and authority to preach. So, above and beyond everything, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to flood this world with the love of Krishna. Here, the two most transformative junctures of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life, that is his mantra initiation from Ishvara Puri, which infused him with the nectar of holy name, and his sannyasa initiation from Keshava Bharati, which marked the beginning of his extensive traveling and preaching. So, till here, I have covered the events of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Balya Leelas, his Leelas in his youth, till the time that he decided to take up sannyasa. Now, this was our part one, and tomorrow in part two, we will conclude the session describing about his renounced life and other important events of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I hope it was a little better. I would ask for everyone for the feedbacks and question answer session. It is now open for question answer session. So I'll request Sharad Prabhuji to step in because I am very bad at answering or solving and giving answers. So Prabhuji, please help me over here. I hope, and please, I'm expecting a feedback from all. I hope it was little better. But over to you, Prabhuji. Please guide. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very well done. There was no problem at all. It has been delivered very, very nicely. Now the question answer session. Now you are requested to put forward your questions or comments about this. Then at the end, I'll tell you certain more important pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then I'll also tell you what will be the program tomorrow. Okay, let me tell in the beginning only till when you are thinking about the questions or the comments. Tomorrow, Charu Prabhuji will be joining us. And as you know, he completed his 80th year on 7th of this month. And also he has been accepted for the PhD program online. So he wants to interact with us. Now the format will be tomorrow. Samta Mataji will be completing the class in about 30-35 minutes or so by 7 o'clock, including the question answer session. Then thereafter, Charu Prabhuji will be joining at 6:30. That means he will be listening to our class and our discussion from 6:30 to 7 o'clock. Till 7:30. Till 7:30, 6:30 to 7:30, you will be attending the class. And thereafter, what will happen? We'll begin the session of interaction with Charu Prabhuji. Then I'll give a 1 minute introduction, and all of you are requested to say just a few words of appreciation for Charu Prabhuji. And thereafter, at the end, he will be interacting with us. He will be conveying with us with his points and advice to us. So this is what is going to happen tomorrow. And for today, I'll request the devotees, please come up with your questions or the comments. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one
Hare
more
Krishna,
thing
Prabhu.
over here.
Yes, yes.
1 second, Rajiv Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we once Charu Prabhuji, like once after the class, when we start interacting with Charu Prabhuji, we just decided with Lalita Priya Mataji that we're going to play the Krishna
Yes,
conscious.
that will be in the beginning only, then I will say something.
Yeah.
Deliberately I did not include this. Okay,
Yeah.
it will be that way only.
And also Lalita Priya Mataji would be singing in Sanskrit the birthday song.
Okay, okay.
And if time permits, Prabhu, tomorrow we can do the Narasimha Kavach for Charu Prabhu. I don't know how the timing, but
Yes. We'll do at the end, toward the end.
Okay. Sure, Prabhu. No problem. Today's Samata Mataji, very good class, Mataji. So nice to hear from you. I did heard from you for recap from couple of classes, but today you have taken us to a different level. A very nice presentation, Mataji. It is encouraging for all of us. So thank you so much. Thanks for all your service. But only request to Sharad Prabhu, if we able to get this PPT, Prabhu, so that will be good for our future reference. I don't know how it is.
Okay, we'll
Good.
do that.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, the classes I had taken, I have also not sent the PPTs. I will send the PPTs.
Prabhuji, we can put it on the WhatsApp group also. It will be very easy.
Yes. That will do. Any other question or comment? Okay, till the time you are thinking about the questions and the comments, I will tell you some stories about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which I am very sure you would not have heard only. And actually, I had planned to tell this thing on the second day, but in the second day, they will not have much time. That's why I'll tell you the story today only. Now, as you know, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, and why he came, the primary reasons, secondary reasons, all these things we have learned today. Now, he always avoided people to publicize that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. But at times, he used to do that also. Now, I'll tell you the incident in which he had this pastimes. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he knew that he was aware of his position as the supreme personality of Godhead. And at times, he used to say in arrogance that I am him, I am him. I am the Supreme Lord. And he used to laugh. And he used to ask, where is this old man, Advaita Acharya, the one who brought me here from my spiritual abode? I'll fulfill his desire and distribute Krishna Prema to everyone. That's why, that's what Advaita Acharya had done. Then the next moment he would cry out, "Oh Krishna, oh my beloved Lord," and he would start weeping, and he would tie his feet with his long curly tresses. Now once he repeated a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by Akrura as he came to take Krishna and Balrama from Vrindavana to Mathura. Now he fell to the ground like a stick, offering his obeisances as if he were Akrura. Now, absorbed in his such ecstatic trance, he said, "O Nanda, let us take Krishna and Balrama to Mathura and see the great festival at the palace where they are performing the Dharma Yajna sacrifice." And in this way, Lord Chaitanya exhibited so many ecstatic moods. He gave unlimited bliss to all the devotees who used to be present to witness all this. And now, what happened one day when the Lord heard the pastimes of Krishna and his incarnation as a boar, Baraha Rupa, Lord Baraha, he started roaring like Baraha, and he rushed to Murari Gupta's house. Now, Lord Chaitanya had a special love, liking for Murari Gupta, like Lord Rama had a special love for Hanuman. Actually, Murari Gupta was he was the incarnation of Hanuman. Now, when the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at Murari Gupta's house, he started the offering. Murari Gupta started offering respect and obeisances to the Lord's lotus feet. Then the Lord hurried past him and didn't attend to him, and he started shouting, "Baraha, Baraha." And Murari Gupta was totally dumbfounded and looking around him what was happening. Then the Lord entered the temple room of Lord Vishnu and saw a beautiful water pot standing in the corner. And just at that moment, the Lord took the form of Baraha, and absorbed in this mode, he lifted the water pot with his tusk, and roaring loudly like a boar, he stood there with his four hooves. Now the Lord ordered Murari Gupta to offer prayers to him, and Murari remained dumbfounded, amazed by the ordinary, extraordinary sight, and no words came out from his mouth. Then the Lord, said, he ordered the Murari, please speak up, do not have fear, don't fear me. Don't you know that I am the supreme authority, supreme identity of the complete world? And now Murari Gupta was trembling with fear, and he pleaded with the Lord, saying that, "Oh Lord, only you yourself know how to glorify yourself and offer prayers." And Lord Ananta Sesa, who holds the entire creation with just one of his hoods, and he has got 1,000 mouths, yet he is unable to glorify you. How can I glorify your supreme self? And who is more capable than Ananta to glorify you? The entire material universe follows the instructions of the Vedas, yet these Vedas are unable to fully reveal your transcendental pastimes, your absolute nature. So we have heard that there are an unlimited number of universes in this material creation, and though all of them they emanate from the pores of your transcendental body, and you are fully independent, supreme personality of Godhead. You are totally autocrat, and you are always blissful. How it is possible for the limited Vedic literature to describe the pastimes of the Supreme Lord and the things you perform according to your own sweet will? Therefore, only the yourself fully knows who you are, and with your causeless mercy will be blessed. And what ability do I possess to offer you prayers and glorify you? And saying all these words, Murari Gupta fell flat on the floor, offering obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And at that time, Lord Baraha was totally pleased with Murari Gupta's words. Then, expressing anger at the Vedic literature, he spoke loudly that the Vedas have the audacity to say that I have no hands, no legs, no mouth, and no eyes. There is a mischievous sannyasi living in Kasi who teaches this to his students. That rascal is trying to mutilate my transcendental form. He studies the Vedas and teaches others, but he does not accept my transcendental form. As a result of such blasphemy, he has been attacked by the dreaded leprosy disease, but he cannot understand the reason for his affliction. I am the Lord of all sacrifices. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord Vishnu, and there are no imperfections in me, in my transcendental form. And Lord Brahma and Shiva, who are always engaged in glorifying my supreme transcendental position and nature, they are doing always that thing only. And a mere touch of my body can spiritualize and purify everything and everybody in this material world. Yet that rascal is so insolent that he proclaims that my transcendental body is non-existent. And carefully hear my opinion, Murari Gupta. I will reveal to you that which is manifested, which is not even manifested even in the Vedas. Now I accepted the incarnation of Varaha to lift the material world out of the waters of nations. Know me to be the ultimate goal of the Vedas, all the Vedic literature. The purpose of my present incarnation is to propagate congregational chanting of the holy name of Krishna. And in this incarnation, as in other incarnations, I will annihilate the miscreants for the protection and pleasure of my devotees. I cannot tolerate my devotees being threatened and tortured by others. I will even kill my own son to protect my beloved devotees. And this is not a lie, Murari. Now, then he expands what he told so far. He said, listen attentively. In my boar incarnation, when I lifted the earth, Mother Earth became impregnated by my touch, and she gave birth to my son named Naraka, who was very strong and very, very powerful. I gave my son all religious instructions. He became a very powerful king and dutifully protected the demigods, Brahmanas, the spiritual masters, and the devotees. However, by the hands of destiny, it changed everything, and due to the influence of his bad association with Banasura, he became a criminal and was cruel to the devotees. And any aggression or violence toward my devotees is totally intolerable to me. I cannot see that. So I killed my son to protect my devotees. I am revealing all these confidential matters to you because you have been serving me for many, many births. And hearing all this, Murari Gupta was totally overwhelmed by the Lord's presence and narration, and he wept with joy. And all glories to Gora Sundara and Sri Murari Gupta. Now, in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the homes of all his devotees one by one, and he expressed his, gave his causeless mercy and he revealed his supreme identity to them. Then I'll tell you another pastime. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as you know, is the supreme Lord of Vaikuntha. Now, one day, what he told his devotees, he said, "Bring something I want to eat. I am very, very hungry." And he held out his hand, and whatever the devotees offered, he consumed. Now, the different Vaishnavas, they brought a variety of food stuff to eat, like banana, moong dal, yogurt, sweet condensed milk, butter, milk like this, and they placed it all in the hands of the Lord, who was totally undisturbed and ate everything. And some of the devotees, they hurried to the market and rushed back with the choicest of articles, and then they offered the Lord coconuts, a variety of milk sweets in huge quantities, blackberries, green melons, sugarcane, and some even brought water from the Ganges. And the Lord ate everything. And seeing the Lord was happily eating everything he was being offered, they presented generous helpings of more delicacies many times over, and hundreds of devotees brought gallons of Ganges water, and the Lord he drank it all, and hundreds of barrels of yogurt, sweet condensed milk, hundreds of bunches of bananas, huge amounts of moong dal, mountains of milk sweet preparation, betel nuts, fruits, nuts, and everything which was brought to the Lord, he consumed them instantly in front of everybody. And this gave pleasure to all the devotees. And the Lord then contently ate everything which was offered to him one by one, and revealed the details of the pastimes of the various devotees. And when the devotees heard their individual stories, they remembered their earlier days and fell to the ground. As we know, all the people who are there, the devotees, they are his permanent associates. They were there with him in his earlier pastimes also, earlier incarnations also. Then he told the story to Srivas Pandita and all that, I will not cover. Then regarding Jagai and Madhai, I want to tell you something which you would not have heard. You heard this story today from Santa Mataji. As you know, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to kill Jagai and Madhai, then Nityamananda Prabhu, he pleaded not to do this because he begged from him. And when Jagai and Madhai, they saw the Sudarshana Chakra, they were totally terrified. And as you know, by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, the Sudarshana Chakra disappeared from view. And Nityananda Prabhu then informed Lord Chaitanya that Jagai had saved him from Madhai, who wanted to hit him again. And this pleased the Lord, and he immediately embraced Jagai with affection. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his mercy to Jagai, Madhai felt very repentant and fell at the Lord's lotus feet to beg forgiveness. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that because you have offended Nityananda Prabhu by striking him, you will be relieved of this offense only if he forgives. Now Madhai fell flat at Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet and begging to be forgiven. And Nityananda Prabhu embraced Madhai and said, "You can take all my piety in exchange for your accumulated sinful reactions. May the Supreme Lord of the universe forgive all of you, all of your offenses." Now, saying this, Nityananda Prabhu placed a tulasi leaf on Madhai's hand and formally accepted all the sinful reactions. And as soon as he did this, Nityananda's golden body turned black. And Nityananda Prabhu then joyfully chanted Krishna's holy name and regained his original complexion. Now these two brothers, they surrendered to Lord Chaitanya and offered him many choicest prayers, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced each of them with affection and declared them as his servants. In this way, Jagai and Madhai became great devotees, and they are counted amongst Lord's disciples. And the Shastra says that these two brothers, Jagai and Madhai, they were the two Vaikuntha gatekeeper, that is Jay and Vijay. Although these gatekeepers had already taken the three births earlier, they appeared of their own free will in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. They to attain the Lord's mercy, and they attained Lord's mercy. So these are some of the stories given in Chaitanya Bhagavata and other scriptures. We'll hear more about these things tomorrow. Still, if you have any questions or you have got any comments, we have got time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Samta Mataji. So wonderful class. Really enjoyed. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai ho. Thank you, Sarad Prabhuji, for some other stories. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji, Samta Mataji. Very nice class. Very sweet, your voice.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Your rendering of that class was very, very sweet. Thank you, Mataji.
Very nicely explained, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Okay, if we do not have any questions, then we'll end the today's class with the Nrsimha prayers. Actually, the Sagar Prabhuji is not here. Yesterday he spoke to me. He is in India only. He is in Vrindavan Dham. And for some time he will not be attending our classes. So let us
If
have
you
the
want, I can
Nrsimha
do.
prayers.
If-
Mataji?
I can do if anyone is.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlada Daine Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Shilatankanakalaye To Narsimha Bharato Narsimha Yato yami tato Narsimha Bahi Narsimha Hrudaye Narsimha Bahi Narsimha Hrudaye Narsimha Narasimha Madhim Sharanam Prapade Narasimha Madhim Sharanam Prapade Avakara Kamalavare Nakha Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa केशवद्रीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तव कर कमल वरे नखा मधुत शृंगाम दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवद्रीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, नरसिंह भगवान की जय, भक्तराज प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। थैंक यू प्रभु, थैंक यू डिवोटीज।
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. Then we meet tomorrow. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srimad Bhagavatam. All glories to Sri Bhakta Maal. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
thank you
Krishna,
so much.
Prabhuji.
Thank you
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
thank you
Archana
Bhakta
Mataji.
Mataji,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna,
Thank you
Hare
Archana
Krishna.
Mataji, wonderful.
Hare Krishna.